I mean, I already asked you, are any of them white supremacists?
And I've said, no, not the people that I know in life, not that I spend time with or anybody that, yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask this question again because I don't think you answered it. So what is the difference between a white person that a white person and a white supremacist?
I guess I think a white supremacist is somebody who is comfortable with subjugation and racism and being the top dog and doing things that might uh, make other people feel like they're down a notch.
So when earlier when you were talking about when you saw a non-white person being mistreated and you necessarily didn't jump in or stop that person from being mistreated by the white person, is that an example of practicing racism?
Boy, I don't know what you're saying. I did try to jump in. I did what I did.
I mean, I could be incorrect, but it said you said you didn't do anything.
No, that's not true. I said I got up and I walked over. I said my voice was very soft and the woman behind me was much stronger in her voice than I was. We both tried to stop something, yes. And I did use my body. I did walk up to the person. I do try. I just don't. I'm not saying that I think I succeeded as one little white girl to do done something amazing or anything. But did I try? Did I step up? Yes, I did.
So then
Because
the
I saw
white.
injustice. What I saw in front of me was injustice. And I just thought, well, we can't let that be. But then I didn't have an answer for what the next step was because, yeah, I didn't see any other white people get up and do anything. Just some lady behind me who was white did also get up. I just didn't see her. But a
So
whole lot of
then
other people didn't move. So there would be an example of a whole lot of people.
the lady you're talking about, is she was she white or non-white?
She was white.
Okay, so the other people who did nothing to stop the non-white person from being mistreated, should they be suspected of being racist white supremacists?
That are just people who want to avoid conflict. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They were just people in a park. I didn't know them.
So the white people there, the white people there that were present that saw a non-white person being mistreated. We are as mentioned, we're in a global system of white supremacy. The white people who were present saw a non-white person being mistreated and did nothing. Should they be suspected of being racist white supremacists?
I'm just not going to answer that as if there's one answer. You're looking for one answer. I don't know. I don't know.
That okay, so
It was a
then
long
under
time ago,
okay.
and I really didn't analyze everybody around me. I just paid attention to how I reacted.
I
And
mean,
the lady behind me.
we're still under a global system of white supremacy, so I
Well, I
suspect that
understand
that's
that's
still
where you're
going on.
start. I get that that's where you're starting from. So that's what you're looking for is answers to back that up. I got that.
I'm simply trying to find out truth, reveal truth. My last question, and I'll yield my mic and pass it on, is under a global system of racism, white supremacy, which you have agreed that exists currently, is it logical for non-white people to suspect all white people of practicing racism, white supremacy, including yourself?
Can you say that one again?
Is it logical for all non-white people to suspect all white people of practicing racism, white supremacy, as long as the system of white supremacy exists, including yourself?
Again, I don't
Okay.
have an answer for that.
Okay. Notice to the room that we have a white person who claims to not know what the difference between a white person and a white supremacist is, and will not provide clarity. Thank you for answering my questions. Much appreciated.
Before we move on, I just want to get a few questions in really quick. I want to go back to the confused part. You said that non. Uh, First of all, who's more confused about racism, white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, and how to practice it? White people or non-white people?
Again, I think the people who are experiencing racism in their lives are going to be more uh, have have the answers that I don't have.
So, if a white person says nigger in the is that white person using that term correctly?
No, I mean, there's no right answer to that. No, yes, no. It's a terrible term.
What's the
Using it
definition?
ever doesn't make sense to me. Ever.
Hmm. Do you think if a non-white person is using the word nigger, is that person using it correctly?
It that doesn't have anything to do with me. That's between the people. You know, that's like a woman calling a woman a derogatory name. Women can. The meaning isn't the same as when someone else says it. Yeah.
The definition for nigger.
I don't. It just seems like something meant to hurt and to make someone else less than you. Just has always seemed like a terrible, terrible term.
And when white people use the word nigger, are they using it to hurt non-white people?
If they're using it, I would think that's how I would take it myself. That's how I
So
would
is
see
that
it.
person using it in a correct way to hurt
I
that person?
If they were trying to hurt them, I guess for them it was. I guess I don't know. We're talking about two different instances. One was when I was a teenager, and the other was nobody used words that I heard. I couldn't hear the words of the fellow bothering the other guy.
Do you think it's constructive for non-white people to ask questions?
Yes,
Pardon me. Let me reiterate that. Do you think it's constructive for non-white people to ask white people questions about
sure,
racism and white supremacy?
sure. I think that it's good. I think it's good to give them a little, heads up that we're going to talk about these two things, and you're going to be the guest speaker. That would be good.
Now,
Um,
do you think that it's constructive for white people to listen, to sit
I
back and
think it's
listen and
very,
spectate?
I think it's very constructive for us to listen. Yeah. Hmm.
How so?
I think I've said that over and over again. That's what I'm doing mostly in the world that I'm in, using this device, this internet way, trying to listen to other people talk about things that I clearly would see myself as not being very educated in. So just like anything, when you don't know things, I'm not a scientist, so I probably listen to scientists that when I need to know about my health, you know.
So, what type of information do you expect to gain from non-white people when you listen to us talk about racism and white supremacy?
Well, I guess I don't have like a exact expectation uh, other than the multitude and myriad of ways that people are able to talk about and express their experiences and how they felt, how it hurt or didn't hurt, and how they perceive what has happened.
And my last question is, what constructive advice can you give to non-white people about racism and white supremacy, specifically how white people practice racism and white supremacy?
Well,
What was that? I didn't hear you.
I don't think I have advice that would be that helpful, other than, if you're really interested in engaging with people that are of this view that you all have, this way of that we're all walking around practicing white supremacy. I don't see that a lot of people are aware of themselves to think that they're doing or not doing things. So if you want to enlighten people, I don't know. I think writing and talking in spaces and letting white people come in and listen is a valuable way to, be willing to maybe, again, nobody's ever told me to come to a space before. I just have been, I've chosen to go, and nobody's asked me to leave. They've let me listen, and I've learned a lot that way.
Okay, so I'm
But
gonna
I'm
go to.
interested in learning. I'm interested. I want to know. I'm a person who would like to know more. So
Sure. Black Native, and Salt and Pepper, then Running. And make sure y'all just ask very briefly because she said she has to go. So, yeah. So go ahead, Black.
Thank you. Uh, what is your name? Keith. Hashtag
no,
Keith.
it's Maggie, actually.
Maggie. How old are you?
64.
And when did you start to become interested in the plight of Black people?
I think most of my life. Maybe in my 20s where I woke up, or maybe in my teens I woke up. I don't know. A little bit. I was aware. I cared.
Okay, and what did you do at a younger age, when you were in your 20s and 30s, to assist the progress of Black people? First of
Only
all, what kind of job? First of all, what kind of job did you have? What were you doing? Like what?
Well, when I was really young, I was a waitress mostly. I went to school. College a little bit in Kentucky. Boy, I became aware, I would say for sure, at school, because I kept wondering where the Black people were at the school. I was in Southern Kentucky, and there were half the school. Now, I don't know why I think I know that. I am not sure of that, but it was just definitely very, people were there. It was Western Kentucky University, but separate, at least from, the 2 years that I spent there. And that was really something that I noticed. No one to talk about it with. Tried to talk about it, but the little bit, if I said it, everybody was just like, who cares or whatever. I don't remember what anybody said. I just remember that I had come from Detroit, and I wondered where the Black people were.
So you decided to go to a segregated college?
Well, no, I did not decide to go to a segregated college. My father had died, and it was near my relatives. I got to live near family. I had no money except for Social Security from my dad. And the school, I could afford it. That's all. And I wanted to go somewhere to school. I didn't choose a segregated college. I didn't choose a college. I barely got in there. I came from the working poor class. I did not come from people sending me off to college.
Okay, so you chose to go to a segregated college?
No, I did not choose to go to a segregated college. I didn't even know. I didn't think or know. I just saw that when I was there. I eventually noticed.
Are you being honest with me?
Yes.
Because it doesn't sound like that. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, then you can say that. I don't know what to tell you. I can only tell you what my experience was. I was the youngest of, I had an old dad. He died when I was 15. His relatives lived down there. I was not safe in the neighborhood I was in because white kids were home, what do you call it? Latchkey. And I just kept going and visiting relatives so I could keep being a kid for a while longer. And then I thought, I'll go to school near them. That's all. I came back into Michigan. I went to school. Plenty of Black people were at the schools I was at. I was not intentionally doing anything. I was poor and I was figuring it out. Just figuring it out.
Why are you defensive? I just asked a question.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay,
All right,
now,
black. Let's get your last question, right?
yes, this will be my last question.
Okay.
Are white women scared of black men?
I have no idea.
You are a white woman, correct? You've been one for
Correct.
64 years, correct? You
Well, I do not
live
feel.
around all,
I.
you said that your community is all white,
That's
correct?
right. That is right. That's
Okay,
where I
so
ended up.
let's not play games. Are white women scared of black men?
We are asking about all white women. Are you asking about
I'm
whether I'm?
asking because you are a white woman. You are from America. You are 64. You are older than everybody probably in this room.
Probably. It sounds like.
So you were born in the 50s or whatever. So I'm asking you, and your people are from Kentucky. Are white women afraid of black men?
And I grew up in Detroit. And no, I do not feel like I am afraid of black men. You want a different answer? You dream on, just take it. You take the answer you want. But I'm telling you me, who I am. That's my only answer. I can't answer for all white women. Won't do it.
So can I ask one more question? I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm just trying to, this is an experiment, correct? This is an
You can go
experiment.
ahead. One last question. That's good.
Okay. Why white women tears? What is that about?
Manipulation looks like to me.
Did she answer your question?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I
Yeah, no
land.
problem. All right, thank you. Running, then Quaker, then Salt. Please make it brief.
Yeah, white people oppress.
Go ahead, Quaker.
Thank you. Thank you for, you know, answering some of our questions again. You keep bringing up ignorance. So do you believe white people are ignorant about practicing racism, white supremacy?
Yes.
Do you believe white people are ignorant about the system of racism, white supremacy?
Yes.
Can you can you provide what is your definition of ignorant?
People who don't know what they don't know.
Don't know what they don't know. Okay. So okay, so we agree that there's a global system of racism, white supremacy, correct?
Correct.
So am I supposed to believe that that system, okay, actually let me stop. Do you believe that that system is maintained through white people being ignorant?
Possibly. I wouldn't say no. I think there's plenty of white people who are not ignorant, along with people who are ignorant. Along with white people who are ignorant. I don't know about anybody else.
So then in order for the system to be maintained, white people cannot be ignorant about the system of white supremacy.
Well, some people. Yeah.
When you say some people, you mean some white people?
Yeah, some white people can manipulate other white people. It happens all the time.
You mentioned you have white privilege. Are you ignorant about your white privilege?
I try really hard not to be, but yeah, I would say I can go through a day and not notice. Yeah. Even though I try. Again, I'm in a lot of white bubble, so yeah.
So when you say not notice, what do you mean?
Well, you can, because it's just what is, and you're around other white people, you don't notice. Yeah. If I'm around people who are non-white, I notice it more.
So are there moments in time where you are not a white person?
No.
So then you always have that you always have white privilege then, or you always are receiving white privilege from the system of racism, white supremacy. Is that correct?
I can't really agree to that answer. No, I don't think it's always so. No.
So when would you not be when would you not be receiving so-called white privilege?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. And I'm really done. You know, I'm really at the end of this. So we're just kind of going around with the same questions. And I just don't feel like I have more to offer.
I see. Well, my goal is to replace the system of white supremacy, racism with a system of justice. And would you like to replace the system of white supremacy with a system of justice?
Again, I think it's a process. And part of the process is awakening more people. So there's a larger group working at the same goals. Yeah.
You said your name was Peggy, right? Is it okay if I call you
Maggie.
Peggy?
Maggie.
Maggie. Is it okay if I call you Maggie?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't answer my question, Maggie. My question was, do you want to replace the system of white supremacy, racism with justice?
I don't know if replacing one gets the other, but yes, justice is always a high value to me.
So that is a yes. You would like to replace the system of white supremacy with justice.
That's not what I'm hearing. Kwaku.
I'm just seeking clarification. Is it yes or no, Maggie?
I don't have a yes or no answer for you. I just don't have
Okay.
one.
No notice to the room. So then, if you are not interested in replacing white supremacy with justice, is it because you don't want to stop receiving the benefits of racism, white supremacy?
No, I just don't like the way you have posed the question. Not at all.
Are you a racist white supremacist, Maggie?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you say you don't want to replace the system of white supremacy with justice, which means
Well,
you would
again,
like to maintain
you're
it.
wording it. It's either or, replace or this, and I mean, maybe it is. Maybe in the end it is, but I have not. I don't have the thought power to meet that answer. Do I want white supremacy to go away? Sure. Who doesn't? Yes. Would I like it replaced with justice? Yes. That? Sure.
Oh, so then you answered my question.
Oh, good.
Okay, so
Really?
so then you would. So well, it seems to me that white people have had well over 400 years to replace the system of white supremacy with justice, but have failed to do so. Do you know why? Can you tell
No.
me why?
No, I got to go. Thanks,
Okay.
though. Brandon, I appreciate it. It's been a real experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie, for answering the questions.
Uh-huh.
Much appreciated. If you're still there, I hope you attempt to keep on attempting to replace the system of white supremacy with justice.
I have one question for Maggie. Did she leave? Maggie, what
Um,
does justice look like to you?
I don't know.
I think she left. Yeah, she left.
I still see
No,
her
Maggie,
here.
come back.
Oh, she dipped. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's gonna block me now. So, what it sounds like, she's not really serious about replacing the system with justice. So there you have it.
Not at all. I think that's the conclusion we came to. So, for any non-white people who may listen to this, and for the non-white people in the room, if white people are not serious about replacing the system of white supremacy with justice, they should not be making contact with non-white people. They do not need to speak with us. They do not need to do anything. In order to even, in my view, in order to produce that system, you don't even need to make contact with non-white people. You can do that by just staying where you are, going to white people. That's all I have.
Well, she lives with nothing but white people. That's what she said. So, I wouldn't expect anything less, because when you asked her that, she seemed like she didn't understand the question. We all understood the question. That's Dr. Frances Cress Welson's top one of her top questions, or one of the statements. Is she was like, she got, I think she became overwhelmed and um, didn't know how to really answer the question, because I wanted to know, what does justice look like to Maggie, and or whatever her name is, but she left, so whatever.
I think Maggie knows exactly what we are asking her. I think she is deliberately not providing constructive information, nor is she answering the questions. I suspect she's a racist suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think she knows exactly what she's doing. I would yeah, everything that she did today was deliberate in my view.
Did anyone go over the definition of justice earlier?
Yeah, I did.
And she said she understood that definition.
I believe she did. And notice to the room, when she speaks about white people, she doesn't mention white. So keep that in mind. Uh, who wanted to speak?
I also have one other thing. I found it interesting that she says in some of the questions nobody mentioned all white people or all white women, but it's interesting that when you're talking to her about the definition of racism, she's talking about all black people or people who experience that. I mean, I think you're asking her about her experience. She's a white person. And a white female. Are white females afraid of black people? I think as a white female, you are qualified to answer that question. Nobody asked you about all white people. So once again, deliberately trying to deceive the non-white people in the room and confuse us about seeking constructive information.
The black and then salt.
Yeah, B1 to room. And the only thing I gotta say is, yeah, she is a real refined white supremacist. That's why I asked the question that I asked, because she was taught she was taught white supremacy from a young age to the point where she didn't even know. It's ingrained in her. That's why I always ask that question. If I can get them to say yes to it and double down on it, then it's a done deal. As far as I'm concerned, if you're not really trying to replace the system of white supremacy with justice, which she would not answer, nor answer for white women, in general, which also is a key thing, she wouldn't make them a monolith. So it's just interesting. That's all. B1.
Go ahead, salt.
I want to give Black Nation A++ on her questioning of the white woman using the term intelligent when talking about the black females. A++ on pressing on that. Example 999 why, and I hope Brandon agrees, but do not let white women, the white people, just listen in on a space, because they're listening to learn. They're listening to refine their racism. They're not listening to help. They're not listening to solve the problem. So please do not allow them to listen in on your spaces. Either you question them or you remove them. That's just my suggestion. I hope I'm not overstepping in Brandon's space. It's not mine. That's my rule, right? When a white person enters the space, oh no, you got to answer some questions or you got to get out of here. One or the other. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And oh yeah, she really tried to stay away from using the term white. And I hope when y'all listen back to this, she said something about, like, when she talks to white people, how she used that term white or whatever. And oh, please, Yes, please, let's stop with the Karens and the snow bunnies, all this coded language or whatever. Please call them what they are. Please do that. If you want to dismantle the system, let's start with using accurate terms, not Karen and snow bunny and all those other terms. No, no, no. Call them what they are. This is what they classified themselves. So why not use the same term that they use for themselves? See, they don't want you to use the term white. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say about that.
I saw OG Keys wanted to say something, and then the Black Native, then Miss Action, then 0526.
Yeah, I was checking on her back channel, on her page. I see she's a big supporter of Hillary Clinton and things of that nature. And if you do your research on Hillary Clinton, she was a very very mean racist. And the things
Not
she have
was,
done,
is. She currently is. Not
absolutely,
was.
she was very terrible. So she's a strong supporter of Hillary Clinton. So that my antennas was up when I saw that. I'm done.
The Black Native.
Yeah, I went on her page too, and she has something about supporting black women. She's what Malcolm warned us about, the liberal, the wolf, the fox. That's who she is. And when I asked her, when she said that she went to, when the brother asked her something about, uh, segregation or something about the schools, and she tried to act like she didn't know segregation existed. And she's what, 64? So she's older than everybody in here. And then when she said she didn't have a choice to go to a school in Kentucky, which was segregated, you have a choice. And then she tried to say she was poor. Look, we ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? She came up with all these different excuses. We were calling her out on her bullshit. I see. White people don't fool me, and I believe that everybody in this room is
Wait a
up
minute.
on.
Black Nation, we don't curse.
Oh, I'm sorry, on her BS. I apologize. And so we're all up on. We've experienced this for 500 plus years. She has the comfort of coming in our spaces, pretending that she doesn't know what's going on when she's lived it for 64 years. See, that's the game. So I'm gonna land on that.
Miss Action, then 0526. And yeah, we don't curse, so keep that in mind, please.
I apologize.
No worries. Miss
Oh,
Action.
real quick. The reason why we don't curse because we don't act white. That's what white people. That's what white people do. And we don't do that. Go ahead, Miss Action.
Greetings to the room. Brandon, when you originally reached out to the white guest, how did you reach out to her and what did you specifically say to her to invite her to the room?
Let me see. Yeah, I asked her yesterday night, would you like to join my space? She said I would. What time? 3 p.m. Eastern? I said, if not, what would be a good time for you? Would 5 p.m.? She said 5 p.m. your time would be too late. And I told her 5 p.m. is good. She said, okay. That was it. And she blocked me, by the way, so.
That's to be expected. And because she mentioned something, she felt like she was tricked. Well, non-white people have been tricked for quite a long time. That's part of the reason I did not ask any questions. Very excellent job, everyone, especially Miss Black Nation. I appreciate you asking her why she sounded nervous. I knew why she sounded nervous, and I'm sure you did too. But thank you for bringing that out. I'm looking forward to reviewing the recording and breaking down all of your questions and decoding the doublespeak. I'm going to yield to 0526.
Yeah, I don't know if it was happening prior, before I joined the space, but I did notice Kwaku. He was being very courteous, and he wasn't yelling or being discourteous at all. But I noticed that his questions were causing her discomfort, and I suspect it's because she realized that the questions are coming from a less confused person, and that was very very obvious. I also want to second what Sauce said earlier about saying white, and it's very okay to say white, and I suspect that is part of the training we have received. They have terrified us so much that we don't even want to say white. I saw a video earlier of a black female who was discussing the race problem, and every time um, she was supposed to be saying white, she would hold up a white paper instead of saying white, and that is very that's very pitiful and tragic that we have been conditioned in this manner, but we have to counter it. And what Quakey mentioned earlier, all about truth. You know, you must reveal truth, and the people who are dominating and terrorizing the planet, they call themselves white. So it's okay for us to say white.
And if I could piggyback off of that, I was speaking with a friend of mine in my house, and we were talking about white people, and she was whispering, and she was like, "Wait," and I'm like, "Why are you whispering? It's just me and you in here in my apartment." And like you said, we have been terrorized and brutalized to in fear of the word. We call, like the sister said, snow bunny, Karens. I was so tired of the word Karen. Let's call it what it is. It's white women and white men who are being racist. That's it. We're not going to
And
keep
white children.
and white children the whole the gamut. We're not going to keep pretending and calling these making them feel comfortable. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. You haven't made me nor my people feel comfortable in this country for the past 500 plus years. And I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. And that's why I knew she was nervous. And I was like, that was my first question, you know. But yeah, and we have been conditioned to say everything other than what it is. And I'm glad that we are now coming to terms with that and actually speaking it and speaking truth to power. I land on that.
Miss Action, go ahead.
Question for the room. Why do you think she was nervous?
I think because Kwaku's questions were designed to dis- to point out like her deception, and she knew that she had to be really precise with her answers, or it will be easily detectable that she was practicing deceit or contradicting herself. So that's why she started to get nervous because the questions began to get harder, and also if she's being asked the same questions, it's going to be harder for her to tell the same lie. So people may have been able to pick up, oh, you didn't say that earlier. So she probably I suspect that's why.
Yeah, to add, I think she was getting it was getting closer to revealing truth. So as we were getting closer to the truth, she got more and more nervous because she could see she understood that the questions were more and more focused on revealing constructive information about the system of white supremacy.
I think she was nervous, aka frustrated by our questions, because she's not accustomed to non-white people questioning her in this manner. And I think that's something that we need to take notice and we need to do more of. We need to make them uncomfortable. We need to make them frustrated. I'm not saying to be discourteous. I'm not saying that at all. But definitely frustrate them, because if they too comfortable, something's not right.
I think
I
she
be-
flee like the Wicked Witch of the West.
right. I believe that they're so used to lying that when you're confronted with people who speak truth, it burns something in their soul, and they're not used to. She doesn't have any black female friends, which she doesn't socialize with black people.
I'm
So
happy for her. I'm happy she doesn't have any female friends. She don't need that. Go ahead. I'm sorry to
right.
interrupt.
No, and you're right. See, because we see through the trash, but I believe that, like you said, she's not used to non-white people questioning her, and most of them aren't. Where we're like, a lot of times you have like we come and we're always coming in a passive way. I wasn't rude to her, and I didn't yell at her. I was just being very direct, and I think it made her uncomfortable. And like you asked about racism, and I asked her about racism, and everybody kept asking her the same questions, and they so used to lying to us and deceiving us. It was just like she couldn't do it anymore. She had to leave. That's how I see it.
The Black Nuremberg and its action.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. The same way they say you put a white person in front of a black person, they'll tell the truth. It's the opposite with them. And by you guys just hitting home with those questions, she didn't want to get off white supremacist code because it was leading to that. And I yield my mic.
Its action.
I think partially it was because she thought she was going to simply listen, not have to speak. But I also think it's because we are not acting in a manner that she can expect. Everyone was calm, courteous, businesslike. There were no raised voices. And she did not have a codified response for that, so she had to leave. Excellent job on causing her discomfort. It revealed the truth.
Go ahead, Kwaku.
I wanted to make a comment, but if anyone else wanted to comment on Miss Action's question, they can go ahead before me.
OG Keys, did you have something?
Yeah, one more thing before I leave. Man, she was melting like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm telling you, that water was too cold, man. That's how the truth is. So they when they're in a room full of counter racists, we're countering her racism, so she had to flee. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Good night.
Go ahead, Kwaku.
Yeah, I would like to. I think it's more accurate for me to say I attempted counter racist, but I think, well, I don't really have a lot of time. I'm trying to solve this problem as soon as possible. So I believe we were all being as courteous as possible under the conditions by asking the questions that we were asking. But the thing I wanted to I guess talk about and analyze a little bit more was when asked if she's a white person, she can tell you she's a white person. She can tell you she's not a white supremacist, but she cannot tell you the difference between the two. And then when you ask her if she is a white supremacist, she says, or she practices white supremacy. She says, "I hope not." Now, that doesn't sound like a yes or a no to me. So I suspect that she does know what a white supremacist is. She does know what the differences are, and she does know when and how to practice white supremacy.
I thought that was
Hello?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there. Repeat it.
Oh, so I suspect she knows what the differences are between a white supremacist and a white person is. I suspect she knows who the white supremacists are, and I suspect that she does practice racism, white supremacy. So I think that's something that I've seen with white people, especially when you're questioning them, is that they can confirm that they are a white person. They can confirm that they are not a white supremacist, or they will say that they are not a white supremacist. But we should all still be suspicious. They can tell you they're not a white supremacist, but when you ask them the differences between the two, they start practicing racism, start practicing deceit. So I just wanted to bring that up. If anybody has any maybe like ways to counter that, I hope not. I don't know what that means.
While y'all think about it, I put in a jumbotron. Go to producejustice.com to pick up Neely Fuller Jr.'s United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. The 2016 version is sold out, but the original version is still up there. So if you would like, you can purchase that. I'm not forcing you, just suggesting to help you get a better understanding of uh, white supremacy. So yeah.
I was surprised she didn't start crying because normally when white people feel like just a remote, they feel remotely attacked, they start crying, and especially white women. And that's why I asked her about the tears because I want to know. I wanted to ask her if she's ever done that, but I was surprised that she didn't break down and start crying because we were asking her legitimate questions.
Me
Um,
too. Me too. You're reading my mind right now.
yeah, I was waiting for it because that's what they do. That's their exit. That's their exit stage left plan. They figure like I'll just cry my way out of a confrontation or, just basic. They just cry. So I was like, I was thinking to myself, when is she going to start crying? I'm waiting for the tears to flow. But she held it down. She had to leave. She had to, get out the room because it was getting hot. But I was surprised that she didn't cry. And I asked her, um, are white women afraid of black men? And I wanted her to, explain that because that's the thing that they've used that fear of black men to harm black men. But I've always noticed, like with these white women that are now being exposed via social media and camera phones, they're always approaching black men and being very aggressive. But you're saying that you fear them. So what is it? She didn't answer that question. There was a lot of things that she didn't want to go into, and that was because she was a racist. And I'll yield on that.
Anyone else have anything else to share? Going once, going twice.
No, but I thank you for the space. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to question white people. I thank you for allowing me to talk to non-white people, and I just appreciate you. I appreciate you. We need more attempted counter races to open up spaces and question white people. We need more of us to talk about the code, the compensatory code system concept.
Any closing statements for anyone?
Constructive business meeting. I found it a constructive use of time. Go to producejustice.com, get a copy of the code book, and let's do our best to attempt to solve this problem. The problem being racism, white supremacy.
Miss Action?
Yes, get the code books, Word Guide. Also get a copy of Race, Code, War. It's also in the Jumbotron by Kahari Inaharo. Also get a copy of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's The ISIS Papers. And look on YouTube. Anytime you can hear Dr. Welsing, Fuller speak online, and be serious about serious things.
05, did you want to plug in your YouTube? And I'll get to you, Black Nigga. I see you. Well, I'll do it. Subscribe to CRWS on YouTube, and you can go ahead go ahead, Black Native.
Um, even if we don't, it's not up to us to try to help white people figure out what their issues are. We, like Dr. Neely Fuller said, we have to be on code. Most of us understand white supremacy because we live in it. We deal with it daily. And, if you have other white people who are honest and willing to actually literally discuss it, that's fine. But if we don't, then oh well. It don't make me no bit of difference, because at the end of the day, we have to, be about our business and deal with white supremacy on our terms and come together as a people. And I yield on that.
All right, well, thank you everyone for participating, asking questions, and we'll do this again sometime. Thank you. Have a good night. Be constructive.